Oh, we're losing a little bit of coolant because I knocked my guy down there. There we go.
Alrighty, so day has turned to night once again at Parker Performance. Josh and Zach have been demodding this car, not most of the day, but since pretty much 3 p.m., 4 o'clock. Intercoolers come off, intake, big turbo, exhaust. Well, John's actually working on a big turbo right now, but there's steps to this. For example, I mean, they're going way far, putting stock grille shutters back on, things that other people wouldn't bother with, that these two people, I mean, do for...
I mean, you know, just to kind of start, you know, the day, we put a stock PCV back in this car, to gutted PCV. So we put a stock PCV back in, and then put everything back to stock there. We put, obviously, stock intercooler, stock grille shutters, with the crossbar, with the appropriate hardware. Make sure all the plugs are in, make sure the ambient temp sensor's in, which actually, Alex, we've had a lot of people recently with check engine lights and codes with installing their intercoolers. They tend to forget to plug this back in, or they do something with it in the process. This is the ambient temp sensor for the vehicle. If you get a code after installing your intercooler, oftentimes it's this. When you remove your grille shutters, you wind up pulling all that back out, and there's that one single clip that goes into the grille shutters. Sometimes you'll wind up with a code for that, but that's hit or miss.
There.
And but that's usually the one that causes the code. Otherwise, the only other way they'd usually get a code is if they messed up and forgot to plug the harness back into the actual sensor on the intercooler itself. But yeah, so right now I'm just in the process of getting the turbo and wastegate actuator off. The downpipe and exhaust is already off. Zach's working on getting the RTR grill out, and once I put the turbo back in and top it off with coolant and put the downpipe on, we'll be done. So we're making good headway, and then we still have to do the rear springs on the other car. So
busy day here at Parker Performance. Giant. As you guys can see right now, he's Parker's disconnecting the, what would you call that? Like the joining piece for the two lines?
I mean, it's like I'm sure there's some technical term that's escaping me right now, but it's just it holds the two of them together. And by removing that, hopefully that'll give us enough wiggle room when I pull these, because what's going to happen is we're going to lose coolant. And
yeah, the coolants are going to basically shoot out, and moving them up will make sure that...
Yeah, you're hoping that gravity becomes your friend, and that the gravity keeps it in the lines. Now granted, there is going to be some that comes out because it's going to push up and out, but
yeah, there's some's about to, you can't not spill in it unless you were to drain the entire system, and even then...
And I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Okay, my bucket's in place, but not quite perfect where I want it. I think that's a little better. I have to split.
And if you guys haven't seen the Vargas Stage 2 Turbo, budget-friendly option to upgrade. You can buy them new or used. Many different options available, from what, like a Stage 1 to a Stage 2 to a Stage 2 Plus. This particular one was in my hand. Well, who had it first?
You did.
Okay, so it was mine first. Then it was this gentleman's. Now it's in Parker's hands.
Well, we'll be able to sell it to somebody or install it for somebody.
Right, or we'll see. We may have a surprise for you guys in a couple of days.
Yeah, we could, yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. I like that idea.
And then this, of course, is a stock location turbo.
So, kind of give them some background here, Alex. There's 8mm, depending on your year of vehicle, the lines that all go into the CHRA are going to be connected with 8mm. Little tiny guys that are going to be like so. Okay, they'll be 8mm, right?
And they suck.
But the top one is fairly easy to get to because it's on top. The middle one here is pretty easy to get to. The difficult one's the one underneath, which is the oil return. Okay? This vehicle is a 2016. Some 2016 models, this one included, will have a 10mm on the bottom.
Oh wow, let's have an 8.
Yours has an 8.
Mine has an 8.
Mine had an 8. Both mine and yours are 15, I believe.
Right.
So this is a 16. I did another 16 earlier in 2017 that also had a 10mm. And I said, I'm putting an 8mm back in there because it was habit.
Right.
But I have noticed on more than one that there is a 10mm. So
they changed the bolt. That's interesting. So what if you... But okay, so how does that fit in the housing?
It fits just fine. It's not
10 or 8, there's no problem.
Yeah, they changed the head. That's all they did. The bolt itself is still the same.
Okay.
Because I actually did replace it with an 8 on mine. Because I got that turbo and I installed it and I made sure there was an 8. Not on mine. It was on Hicks's car actually. But so we've done several of these big turbos. I don't know, probably 10, 15 of them by now. The easiest way, like most people, you're thinking working on the turbo, I'm gonna work from this side. The easiest way to get that bottom, whether it's an 8 or a 10mm, is to actually stand in front of the vehicle here, put your hand underneath the intake on the compressor side. You're gonna actually put your hand from this side, come in, you're gonna go underneath here with that hand, and then with your left hand, you're gonna be working and manipulating from the back side here, your wrench. And that's the best way that I found. Alex, if you want, I can kind of show them what that looks like. Is you kind of bear hug the motor with your left hand going down in this side and your right hand coming in from the front. And I wind up just like this with my shoulder pegged all the way down.
So much easier to do.
And it takes me about 6 or 8 minutes usually, as opposed to multiple hours I've seen people spend trying to do it the other way. So
how much should we try the first time we put? 4 hours?
I don't want to say who it was.
4 hours.
And then I was doing that GT with the full suspension, and you guys were like, hey Parker, come take a look at this. What was it, like 6 minutes later?
Yeah, he was sweet talking it.
All right, guys, you're done. But yeah, so we'll get this thing off, say a prayer that the coolant goes into the bucket and into the pan, because the Parker Performance floor has seen plenty of coolant in its day. Plenty of transmission fluid, and plenty of oil. So, ready, set. I guess we'll pull the bottom one first. Or the top one. Okay, there we go. There we go. Get in there. Hold on tight. Okay. Now, for anybody watching at home, a lot of you guys have PM'd me and asked me how to do these swaps, and I've walked you through it, and I've told you exactly what I just did, and you bitched or complained about how much coolant came out. Less than a cup, less than probably half a cup, less than a quarter of a cup. Like very little came out right then, right? So that's the way to do it, is get yourself a bungee cord, hook it in here, hold your lines in, disconnect that a joiner, whatever the hell you want to call it. And now all we got to do to remove this turbo is pull these 14s out, or 13s out off of the headifold, and then manipulate getting this bastard out of here. We started this demod at like 4 o'clock. One of the first things I did was I sprayed all 4 headifold bolts with WD-40, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I sprayed both downpipe bolts with WD-40. If you've ever worked on these and had one of these bolts get stuck on one of those threads, trust me when I tell you, it's a good idea.
Trust him when he tells you.
Because he's almost always right.
No, that's Zach, but I measured it to the millimeter.
He's right on that one.
Fuck, whatever. Okay. I'll leave that there just in case. No, I'm not. I'm gonna leave it there. Alright. So, here comes the fun. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All 4 there. Okay, say a prayer. Okay, good. Look clear. Good. Clear. Move the little guy. There you go.
Oh, we're losing a little bit of coolant because I knocked my guy down there. There we go. And there she goes.
And you guys can see with the 2.3 liter block, we don't have an exhaust manifold. We have what is called a header fold. Now, Parker is teaming up with
replicate the way it was built on the factory side. So the first thing you're going to do, actually when you get it, you're going to have this retaining clip will be on here. You need